Hello everyone, welcome to another video today I would like to talk about something that I wasn't really considering for a long time, but then I was like, you know what, maybe it's time we do this. So today I'm going to talk about two different words. So I'm going to talk about what the difference between the two words are: blind or visually impaired. So a lot of people who are not blind or visually impaired, they always say that someone who is blind, no, the person's visually impaired, or they can't, they can't see well, but I guess you could say they're visually impaired because you do have an impairment of vision. But to me, I think people should be okay and not be so fearful of saying the word blind, because if someone who is blind, and if they're comfortable with it, you can say that they're blind, and because that's the reality. And so to me, both of these words are completely separate. When I say blind and or visually impaired. So there's this article I'm going to post in the description called Industries for the Blind and Visually Impaired, so that way you guys can get a better understanding. For those of you that are still wondering after this video, if you want to get more in-depth information on an overview of what these two words mean and the differences between the two words. So let's get started on how I think of this. So as I said, I think they're totally separate words. So blind. Blind means you can't see at all, or 90% of blind people have some remaining vision. It doesn't mean they can see. It means they are on the blindness spectrum. They are blind, but they can see. The people who went blind, if they were legally blind or something, they have some remaining vision, like light perception, shadow perception. They can see some form of a shape. Everybody's experience is going to be different. It's not all the same. That's what I want you to keep in mind, is that not everybody's, everybody's blindness is going to be different, or impairment of vision is going to be different. So in my case, I am visually impaired, which, or you can say that I'm legally blind or low vision. You can say either of those things, because I am definitely on the blindness spectrum. I've been this way since birth, as I've said in previous videos. So visually impaired. So visually impaired basically means that someone can have a decreased amount of vision to see, from, let's say, I can see at a certain distance. I'm not going to say how much feet, because I don't really remember, and I don't want to confuse anybody on this as much as possible. So there's a certain amount of distance that I can see far away. So let's say if I am here, I'll give you an example on a distance. So if I'm right here, I can see the lights, and I can see some of the colors on my phone. I can see the little timestamp thing. It's red and a little bit of white, but I cannot see the I can't really see the numbers changing because it's too small for me to see, and I'm also far away from it. And I can also see the record button. It's lighting up red around with white, because the contrast on my wall here is it's white, and I'm able to see it because it's at the right lighting. But I can't tell if it's a shape. All I know is that it's a color inside the circle. And I could also see there's also this other white circle above it. I believe that's the camera taking a photo button. If you guys want, I'll take a screenshot really fast so you guys can see what I mean, what I was just talking about. So yeah, that's just basically a little example on how far I can see. It really depends on how far or close something is to me. That's how I like to think of it. I always like to tell people, I always say to people who are new to me and know that I'm visually impaired, I always like to tell them that, okay, sorry guys, I had to check the minutes. I always like to tell people who know I'm visually impaired already that if they want to know how far I can see, I don't say my visual acuity because one, that's personal, unless they really need to know for a requirement or whatever, for like maybe like a job or something. I say usually that it really depends on like how far I can see something. I usually tell them you can observe on how I can see like what I can and can't see based on like what you see me doing and how I look at things, or using my other senses like my ears, my nose, my sense of taste, or my sense of touching with my hands. So yeah, that's how I usually tell people who are new to me and they know I'm visually impaired. So you could also say low vision. So low vision basically means you have impairment of vision, but it means like it's also a decreased ability to see. You don't have 20/20 vision. I believe that, if I remember this correctly, looking at the website, I believe it said that I think someone with corrected vision with glasses or contacts, it's not really fixable by any memes or something. It said something like that. I'm trying to like give quick examples here as much as possible, but there will be more information in the description to that website. So and also, like, the last thing is legally blind. So as you all know, like I say in my videos that I am legally blind or visually impaired. So as you all know, for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm on the blindness spectrum. I have a disability with my vision. And if you look closely, if you still don't believe me because stereotypes that I don't look blind, you can see that my one eye, which is my right eye right here, that I can't really see, that my one eye, this eye is smaller than this one. This is the one I see out of. And this is the one I've always see out of. I've always been legally blind since birth. People who are born blind, and yeah, that's basically how I like to talk about like some of these type of terms. Like you can say any of these because they really like sound pretty similar to each other. I guess it's just some little differences to it. But that website will be linked below, as I said, for like, I don't know, the third time. Now the last word is blind. So blind basically means, well, you're blind, you can't see anything. People who are born blind, they usually can't see anything. But people who are born legally blind, or have been diagnosed with a genetic condition or disease, eye disease, they would usually, when they lose vision over time, you can see somewhat of like a shape or light perception or whatever. That's just from what I observed, from what some of my other friends have. I have other friends in my high school that are visually impaired or blind. Everybody's experience is going to be different. Not everyone has the same blindness or disability with vision. So that's what I want you guys to keep in mind, because it'll help you understand when you hear more experiences about everyone's different eye conditions or blindness experiences and what they go through every day. It works. And I also want to say that just because you're blind or visually impaired, it doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing anything. You can do anything. It's just that there's certain ways you get to accommodate stuff. That's what I like to do. I like making YouTube videos about blindness and visual impairments and just disability in general, because I feel like it's important to educate and spread awareness of disability, because it's not talked about it enough. I think it needs to be talked about more, because the more we talk about it, the better we can create change in the world. And society can view not disability as a negative, but also see it as a positive. Yes, disability has its challenges in anybody's situation, but there's positives to it that you can find. You just gotta like think deep down and like figure it out yourself, and best ways to accommodate to it. Usually people who are blind or visually impaired like myself, we adjust to our disabilities. And I've adapted and adjusted to my disability. I've been, like I said, legally blind since birth. And to me, like, I am sighted, but I know that I'm not fully sighted. This is all I know. I don't know what full sight is going to look like. I have an idea since I have enough vision to see detail around me, but I don't really see, but yeah, like, I could see at a certain distance, and I only see out of one eye, but I know this is the longer video than usual. I know this is kind of, I guess, a little rambly, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new from this. As I said before, I'm going to link that website down below so you can get a better overview and a better understanding of what these two words basically mean and some of the other stuff I've said. So anyways, if you do like what you see, comment, like, and subscribe, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.